trained professionals.
No, we're on the same page all the time.
Chili bees.
Elric,
He had no
what's
arm.
the best?
No leg.
What is it? Honey meat.
All of them. Yep.
Right?
I
All
like
of it.
Honey.
like grab his stroke the stub a little bit.
When was the last time she was here?
Will you marry me?
You started your travel and ended your travel from Sharone to the Titan's Bark Moon Druids Grove. On your journey, you encountered an injured, unique ranger lady who provided you a shortcut, a path to a shortcut, as a reward for helping her get her trapped leg unstuck. She mentioned that she doesn't know where the druids are, but has encountered some because she lives out here in the forest, specifically one named Eyeless. You carried on, taking that shortcut to subtract a day from your travels, and eventually wound up in an area with a bunch of butterflies and a moth. Although you had succeeded your wisdom saving throw to not be charmed by the moth, you still decided to follow it, and it brought you to the mythological and real Kafina's well. There you guys decided to spend some time. You read the ancient script on the basin that I don't remember exactly what it said, but had to do something with sleep. And you guys decided to take a nap. Upon waking up, Yen Sid was a sheep, and Galleon could not speak without singing, which the sheep situation resolved itself within a minute. However, Galleon was stuck singing until he completed a long rest. From there, you carried on in the direction of the grove, where you encountered a black bear, which you had stumbled into its territory. An encounter was about to ensue, really. It hadn't begun very much, before Galleon decided to cast Enlarge Reduce on the bear to shrink it down to cub size. It scared the bear so much that the bear decided to simply run away, not knowing what to do with itself. And from there, you stepped into the grove for the first time and took in its breathtaking beauty of dappled lighting and giant oak trees. You saw some individuals shape-shifting from a badger or an elephant back to their human form and vice versa. And now you are standing on the perimeter, I would say, of the grove. What is your next course of action?
First course of action is to note that I would have taken ample notes on the well since there wasn't a lot of information about it. I would have marked its location to the best of my knowledge of like where exactly we were, as well as the inscription and then the effects it had on us with it pulling us into it and like trying to charm us, and then the effects it had on us after we slept in its presence. But last I remember, I saw a person turn into an elephant. Have I seen an elephant before? Like,
elephants are not native to this region, so probably not. I don't even think you would find them on Gujek Island. Gujek Island is more jungle than like savannah.
And I don't think I would have seen any that in the Great Dunes for sure.
No, I think if I had to really think about it, the only place you would really see an elephant. Actually, I was starting to think I don't have a place where elephants would live in my world, and now it's just a mythological creature. I would say that the best place you'd probably spot an elephant is maybe Umegi's Tears.
I like that.
Or the sacred grove. Even though that's more of enchanted forest, it is magical.
Okay. I also am going to be trying out a different voice for Yen Sid today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these origin arcs are for, so...
Now,
Keep
Because he's
trying.
still relatively young for a turtle. So
Yeah.
I feel like the old man voice fits him.
Are you going with Surfer Dude?
No.
Surfer did.
Man! That was a gnarly one.
Whoa.
Hey,
Whoa!
Yen said you've changed.
So that being said, walked in, we saw people turning into animals. My eyes are filled with wonder. It's everything and more that the little bit of information we had at the library said it would. It's impressive. So I'm probably for the first time at a loss for words.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just standing there. I probably just jaw open.
Magnificent.
You said it.
You know, it's kind of impossible for words to properly prepare you for until you're truly there.
I can think of a few words.
Well,
And I immediately start writing stuff down.
nice.
It's gorgeous. I talk about the cloaked woman with the eyes like emeralds gathering luminous mushrooms. I talk about the oak tree being kind of broken down by the now elephant that was once a person. Yeah, and just I'm not saying it. Literally writing everything down, and probably will do this until someone stops me
Okay.
or approaches me, or unless Galleon strikes up conversation. But even then, it's very much just eyes are full of writing.
I like that.
I just forgot to export the map, which I'm doing now. But I would say after some time, you are approached by two Spriggans. Spriggans are tree-like people, so it literally looks like two trees walked up to you.
The trees are walking.
Once again, something words... Well, I guess words could have prepared me for that, but...
Hello. Do you speak common? Or I'm going around this area.
Grimrex is the language that you
Grimrex.
speak.
Yes. Do you speak Grimrex?
The Spriggans look at each other, look at you, and then proceed to scoop you up. Like one goes under one arm and one goes under the other arm.
I quickly try to shove my papers in my pouch.
Okay. And they just kind of carry you, and they carry you as if you are light as a baby.
That's impressive.
But it's just, you are a very heavy creature by nature. And they carry you deep into the grove. Let me see if I can get
And
this
just
on
Yen
the
Sid, right?
screen. Galleon as well.
Oh, Galleon as well. Gotcha.
Let me just take off token
Just wanna
vision.
double check. 398 plus 95.
I heard 98.
Yeah, I weigh 398 pounds.
Damn!
Scared myself. I'm just gonna zoom out for a second. But you are eventually brought to this area. Game? No? You don't wanna.
Aha!
Josh! It's not working!
The thingy thing? This thing?
Yeah. How'd you do
Huh.
it?
Shift click.
Okay, that's
Shift
what
long
I
click.
thought. That's what I thought. Alright, well, I'll have to check it out in a second. So you're brought to this area,
that's cool.
and you're standing outside this building. The tree to your right is massive. Like the size of a mountain, kind of massive. It's got these spiraling, gnarled, thick branches that you can only imagine what creatures live up there. As you are brought over, you are separated from Galleon at this point in time. As the Spriggan speaks to a man who I realize I never made an image of, did I? Maybe I did. 1 second.
Please hold.
See? I actually did make this. Pop a few. You are approached by this man who speaks to the Spriggans in a language you do not understand. It sounds a bit like Grimrick's, but completely foreign when you actually listen to the syllables spoken. And then this man would eventually turn towards you, Yen Sid, and ask you your name.
I am Yen Sid. Friend.
Yen Sid. Well, welcome, I suppose. This general area, is it like seating anywhere, or is it just like
You're
everybody
like
stands?
on a dirt path.
Okay. So not in
outside
a
of
building
this
yet.
large building.
Am I still being held like a baby?
No, the Spriggans have long since put you down.
Okay. I do a slight bow. I am a friend.
Well, I suppose only time will tell for this, but I hope to believe you. We only just received a letter yesterday about your arrival. My condolences for your sick partner, by the way.
He'll be fine. He always bounces back.
Well, then fortune has smiled on us indeed. Well, the building next to us, is that something that would be logical for him to invite him into? Or is this like not?
Not yet. Not yet.
Kind of figured. Okay. Well, although we agreed to meet with the historian, I must be blunt with you. We can't simply trust outsiders on their word, you see. These stories that we agree to share with you, these are sacred. And beyond that, there is power in them. These stories hold ancient magics, rituals, rites, that in the wrong hands could be very dangerous.
It's a good thing I have the right hands.
Well, time will tell, but I respect your attitude. Walk with me a little.
I follow.
There has been a long-standing tradition, Yen Sid, on our circle's way of testing outsiders. You see, the only way we know if we can truly trust you is if all around us share through personal testimony that they trust you. It is in this way that the circle continues to protect itself and build trust within its members. To be perfectly clear with you, should we accept you into our circle of trusted outsiders, you will need to prove yourself to 3 individuals. This will involve you meeting them, speaking with them, and performing whatever task they require of you, to the best of your ability.
I think back to the dreamlike journey I had when I met Korvax. How many signs how many paths did I choose from? Was it 3 different paths? Or 4?
How many times?
Yeah, I'm like, which time? Like, in total,
Some were
how
2,
many
some were
paths
3.
were there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like that I had a choice. Well, not
Or
choice,
how many
it was like-
choices you had?
Yeah, totally.
The
It's like, I
choices
chose
was a
3
total of
times.
6.
6.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will speak on it, and I wonder if this will be similar to that of Corvax had me do, and see if he reacts in any way.
Killscythe, I'd say you know of Corvax. You know Corvax to be a living being, but not one of words.
Okay. Well, if it were of Corvax, I would assume such a thing would be. Why do you suspect any connection to Corvax?
Well, I didn't meet Corvax until I started researching you and your people.
Well, it must have been a relatively insightful meeting, I would assume.
It
Word
was
have a word less.
curious.
I actually just rewatched that episode
Did
yesterday.
you?
I was dying. Just every time. Well, as I was saying, you will go to 3 different individuals. I have picked them out already. After you assist them with whatever task they require of you, if they supply you with excuse me, if they supply you with their trinkets as proof of your assistance, we may begin to trust you.
Whatever you need me to do, I will do.
I would stop walking at this point. You must understand, our circle relies on its isolationist way of life. We are wary by nature. However, and I would gesture out towards like some of the surrounding land and buildings. Recently, we had a very powerful thunderstorm venture through here. It has left us reeling and somewhat in shambles in certain areas. It seems nature has smiled on you because we are in need of assistance in this matter.
May I ask before I get started, why is it that you are so wary?
As I have mentioned, our rituals, our rites, our stories, there is power in them. In the wrong hands, they could be used for devastation. They could upset the natural balance. We must do all that we can to protect this balance in nature. It is our duty. Well, then, if you understand all that is presented to you, I will tell you the names of those you must seek out.
I get out my paper, start writing them down.
First, you will seek out Yen Silkian.
I'll type it in chat for you.
Yeah. There's a lot of E's.
There's a lot of E's.
And I kind of just like give this ever so slight chuckle as I say the name.
Did he introduce himself? I'm sorry.
Actually, I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. Completely not. We would have done that at the beginning, though. We would have introduced as Killseath Tracken.
Oh. Alright, I'm listening for the other name.
Next, should you be successful, you must seek out Ilis Elnelis. And finally, should you be granted the trinkets of both of these individuals, you will seek out Selfie Magiella.
Right. I've heard one of these names before.
Let me guess. Iris.
How could you know?
The man does enough rambling for all three of them combined. Well, Yen Sid, should you be successful in passing all of these trials, I will officially welcome you into this circle. And I must say, though we are wary, should a fellow druid be welcomed in, you'll be welcomed properly.
If I were to only succeed in 2 of the tasks, does that forfeit my chances, or would I be able to retest at some point?
He would have to seek out another member willing to sponsor him with their trinket.
You must understand that along with such things, word of mouth spreads, and it may be difficult to find somebody else willing to sponsor you at such a point. I would advise you do your utmost to succeed initially.
I will do my very best.
Yen Sid, I have but one question for you before you begin. Why is it that you wish to seek us out? What is it that drives you for this?
Well, I like to know things. I think there is a beauty in preserving history and traditions, and for it to be written down for others to enjoy, though some, I understand, must be a secret. But not all of it. For this beauty to be kept from the mind's eye of those around the world, that would be a tragedy.
I'm beginning to like you, Yen Sid. Now go.
Oh, thank you.
Ooh, thank you. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'd continue just gently pacing along the road.
Okay. Killseth would be quickly approached by somebody else who needs help in some other area of the grove. He gave you 3 names, but he didn't really give you any place to find them, so how would you like to go about that?
The only person that I have a vague description of would be Eyeless.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, and he didn't give me a time frame on when these tasks needed to be completed. So I would take my time walking around where I'd be allowed and wouldn't be like shoot away from.
Mm-hmm.
Taking in the sights, but also looking for Eyeless.
Are you like spending a day to do this, or are you kind of, because like he said, there was no time frame.
Yeah, he didn't give me a time limit on this. So yeah, I would spend, because what time did we get here? It was like mid-afternoon or something.
Sure, let's go with that. Sounds good to me. Just close this real quick. I realized I didn't technically finish this map. That's fine. There's also a random green dotted line that I forgot to erase. Also fine.
So yeah, I would spend most of the day just kind of sightseeing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then in the early evening, like at dusk, I would try to really seek out Eyeless.
Okay. So most of the grove is dense forest, as you can see. There's just only a few places that are kind of carved out. And even then, they're kind of more so carved with the nature, if that makes sense. So in this central area, you are shooed away from buildings like, I think I need to reload. 1 second, because I'm like, I can't even ping. I can't do anything. I think it needs a solid refresh, restart, regroup. Okay. Yay! Okay, so this building, you are shooed away from, and you are not allowed anywhere near this building. Let me shift ping so you can see what I'm talking about. You're not allowed near that building at all. And I should say, it's not really like a building. It's a giant tree that's kind of become a stump, if you will. And that stump, there's, like, people can go up there. You're not sure for what. The rest of these smaller houses appear to be, like, homes. And then this giant tree, the roots at the bottom kind of act as, like, archways and walls and ceilings. You can actually walk through and underneath it, through the roots and stuff, where you can see kind of like a marketplace in quotes. But like the herbalist supplies, alchemist supplies, if you need a druid for this or a druid for that, like the resources, so if they have any stone, lumber, sand, any of that, left over, it's stored under this tree.
I'm muted. I would take note when I went in there to kind of check their trading habits, I guess. Like, are they trading in silver and gold, or is it more service for service, material for material, that kind of thing?
It's very much a barter system, and even on that note, some of it's kind of just like, oh, you need help, we'll help you. Some of it's almost merit-based, if you will. But in terms of, like, I guess, materials, often people will trade. But if they don't have the means to, they don't really have an economy here, almost, is what you get the feeling of. You are allowed over in this direction. You'll note that this is kind of an herbalist garden. There are a lot of exotic herbs here and plants and things. You'll also notice that it's mostly in ruin at the moment. There's a lot of like debris, a lot of overwatered plants, some uprooted plants and things like that. And if you are to venture as far as over here, you are allowed on the steps, but not anywhere closer than that. This appears to be some sort of ruins.
Do I see any religious symbols or
roll me a perception check.
Yeah. 10.
From the stairs, it's really, really hard to see. You get the feeling that this was once some sort of temple. To whom or for what, you're not sure.
Okay. When I was at the garden, did I recognize any of the exotic plants and or what their purposes might have been for?
You can. Let's do it.
From all my reading of the places that I visit.
It's gonna be a nature check, but are you looking for any specific herb in particular or anything like that?
No, I just want to see, like, oh, they have this. That's really rare and hard to come by. Like, it's not
okay.
Like,
then let's start with this. You can roll me a nature check just to see what was there, and then if you want to go into detail about any of them, I'll have you roll further checks.
Another 10.
Okay, so off the bat, you're able to recognize Heartbloom, Silverleaf, and no, not that one. And yeah, Heartbloom, Silverleaf, and I'll give you Mossvine. You're muted. I just wanted to make sure you knew. He said the clickety clackety. Oh, good.
I feel bad about it now that I'm super aware of it.
No, you're good. Do you want to look into any of those in particular, or?
Yeah. Where would I know? I guess of the uses of Heartbloom.
You can roll me another
Potentially.
nature check.
Lemon.
Okay. So Heartbloom, grows about 1 to 2 feet tall. It has a slender stem. Its leaves are broad, dark green, that form a low, kind of bushy canopy around it. The edges of the leaves have a faint silver outline, shimmering slightly when exposed to the sunlight. It also grows flowers that are deep crimson with a bright orange center, blooming in clusters at the top of the plant. The petals give off a faint warmth when touched, and that is a key feature for identifying their maturity. Heartbloom is highly valued for its healing properties, used in salves and poultices to accelerate wound recovery and ease burn. The petals are often harvested to create an extract used in most healing potions.
And then I want heads or tails. Let's just roll 1d2, 1 silver leaf, 2 moss vine.
That's so funny.
Basically, I just want to know about a couple of them to see if maybe I can use that as an in with anybody.
For
like,
sure.
oh, hey, I'm knowledgeable about this stuff. You can trust me around your nature stuff.
I mean, you can do both.
So,
you don't have to. I mean, you got time.
Okay.
You said you were spending the afternoon, so.
True. Let's start with silver leaf.
Silver leaf. What'd you roll me? Oh, roll me a nature.
Oh yeah. Had to get the one out of the way. Boom.
To get the one out of the way. Okay, so silverleaf is a small plant that grows no more than 1 foot in height with thin, flexible stalks. True to its name, silverleaf's leaves are slender and elongated, shimmering like a polished metal in light. And the undersides of the leaves have a pale blue hue, while the tops are bright, reflective silver. The plant also gives off a faint minty aroma when crushed or bruised, often used to identify it in the wild. Silverleaf is prized for its rejuvenation properties, used in teas and tonics to restore energy and combat fatigue. Its leaves can also be used in stimulant potions to grant temporary boosts in speed.
Okay, and then moss vine.
It's nature.
19.
Very good. So moss vine grows along the ground, spreading out in a tangled web of thin green vines. The vines are then covered in small, soft, mossy leaves that give the plant a carpet-like texture. The leaves are small and round with a velvety surface. They are dark green with silver speckles scattered across their tops. Moss vine is used to regulate moisture levels in soil, making it an important herb for tending to overwatered plants. It absorbs excess water and slowly releases it back into the soil over time, preventing both drought and rot. Its leaves can be dried and crushed to make moisture-retaining powder, which can be added to soil in drought conditions.
Perfect. That actually gives me lots of ideas. Okay. I would have gotten hungry at some point. I would have looked for if there was a place where maybe people were gathering and getting food that was near the market area or elsewhere, and seen if I could barter for some food or just ask.
By what time do you think you would have gotten hungry? Like dinner time?
Yeah, 5, 6 o'clock.
Okay, so then I will say that you actually notice people starting to congregate under the giant oak tree. And as you walk in there, you will see kind of tables that weren't there before when you were there earlier. And you will note that everyone is just kind of eating, like buffet style. There appears to be no price. You just kind of sit and eat and talk to people.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody that would give me the time of day, I would approach with my tray or whatever, my bowl of foods, and kind of like the new kid at a school, like sheepishly going from table to table to see who would accept me at their table.
I will say that no one's like, you can't sit with us, but they're also not very welcoming. As
Gotcha.
like, they won't be like, oh, sit with us, or like, if you sit down, they won't like turn and be like, oh, hi, I'm so and so, who are you? They're just very much like in their own conversations. Speaking a language you don't quite understand, although based off of your research before coming here, you can tell it's some form of Druidic that is spoken, and it kind of reminds you a bit of Sylvan, but it's different. It's almost like a dialect of Sylvan.
Gotcha. Yeah, if nobody would really talk to me, I might find a place to sit that was a little more alone in hopes that maybe Eyeless would find me. Knowing that he likes to talk, maybe he'd see the new person.
The only person who would talk to you is Eyeless.
Okay.
But even that being said, he wouldn't really seek you out. How about you roll me a perception check to see if you can kind of spot him in the crowd?
Yeah. 22.
That's really good. You can see that Eyeless is talking to, I actually say a bunch of younger druids, who are not really listening to what he's saying.
I'll approach him, still with my food, or if it's really good, I don't know what I'm eating, but I'll eat
I don't know what you're eating either. I'll say
Come on,
it's
food lady.
more so, what do I want to say? It's more so like natural food versus like a lot of spices. You know, you might have, it's maybe like shaved lamb leg on, a bed of lettuce with some fresh cherry tomatoes and red onion and maybe some peppers in there. But it's like, you know, there's no like dressing. You might have like, yeah, there's no real like dressing to it. It's very just natural. But the food, it's like the ingredients itself, like the flavors are so intense because they're so well like grown and prepared.
Nice. I get seconds. If I see other people getting seconds, I
oh yeah, it's kind of like just eat how much you want to eat. It's not really like.
Yeah, I'll take my food up to Eyeless. Give a little tap on the shoulder. I don't mean to interrupt, but I think I need to speak with you.
Yes, sorry, do I know you?
No.
Oh, well, in that case, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Eyeless, although you've already said this. What is your name?
I'm Yen Sid.
Yen Sid. A fun name to say. Yen Sid. Well, nice to meet you. You were told to seek me out, though.
I was by more than one person, actually.
What matter would this be referring to?
Well, Reyna Adra, the ranger, told me I should seek you out.
Reyna, yes. Oh, well. How is she?
She's got a bruised ego, but otherwise she's fine.
It would not be the first time.
She had a tree fall on her.
That would be the first time. Is she all right?
Bruised ego.
Ah, that sounds like Reyna.
I can see that him and I are going to go in circles. But also, Kilseath Trakan sent me, Traken sent me.
Ah, Archdruid. Well, in that case, how might I be of assistance?
But that's the thing. I'm supposed to be of assistance to you.
Oh, apologies. It's been a long day. A long day indeed. Well, I suppose after... What time of day is it now?
They're eating
Dinner
dinner
time.
right now, but you would know that, after dinner, you and all the other Druids will be busy.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, unfortunately, I think it's a bit too late for what I'm in need of assistance for, as, well, the rest of the night is busy. But if you're willing, you could meet with me tomorrow morning.
Perhaps if you just tell me what you need, I could potentially get started on it.
Well, are you a druid?
Not yet.
Well, in that case, you will need assistance. This is a very serious matter. Serious indeed, yes. You will have to meet... I'll tell you what. Meet me on the outer edge of the grove tomorrow morning.
Which edge?
Oh, where is it? I don't actually know. It doesn't specify.
Pick a direction, Josh. I don't care.
The northeastern edge.
Near the farm. The
Yes, indeed.
herbal.
Though not on the farm itself.
All right. Well, I'll meet you there. Could you at least perhaps tell me what it is we'll be doing?
We will be rescuing a bit of nature that has fallen prey to, well, nature, as is the natural order of nature, and other natural occurrences around here.
If it's the natural order of the natural way of things, would it be best to leave it as is?
Oh, no. You see, the natural order predicts that we must utilize nature's power to heal nature after this natural occurrence.
Naturally.
Quite. You sound fit for the task.
I'm glad I have your confidence.
Look for... Well, it will be obvious when you get there.
Bare necessities?
It is quite bear-like, but not quite, no.
All right. Tomorrow morning, what time?
Oh, well, I suppose just after dawn. It will be a beautiful morning with the morning dew and the mist coming off of the trees as the sun rises above the horizon.
Will I have to worry about any tricks from Kafina when I sleep here?
Kafina? I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless you know something I don't.
No.
In that case, no, of course not. We shall be fine.
Okay. Tomorrow morning.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, Yen Sid. If you don't mind, I will return to... Well, you're welcome to sit with me if you'd like.
Yes.
Perfect. Then I would just go back to eating and be randomly mumbling and murmuring about a variety of things throughout the night.
Trying to listen into all of them. If he's speaking in Grimrix, if he's speaking in Druidic, then...
If he's talking to you, he'd speak in Grimrix. When dinner does finish, Yen Sid, you are escorted elsewhere. You are escorted to the building that you were previously not allowed in.
Okay.
Just close this. In there, you are given or brought to a room, just a bedroom. Nothing spectacular about it, you know, bed, storage chest, desk, a lamp. And the person who guides you there will just ask, do you need anything else?
One thing. The whereabouts of the friend that I arrived with?
He is elsewhere.
Is he safe?
Yes.
Is he still of his own free will?
Yes.
Insight check? $22?
Yen Sid can't roll bad. What the hell?
What do you mean? I rolled some 10s earlier.
Rolled some tens.
Yeah, you're right.
You get the feeling that you're not getting the whole picture, but that they are telling the truth.
Well, I've assisted him in the past, so if he needs any help with anything, please let me know.
If his whereabouts change, I will let you know.
Thank you.
The druid closes the door, and you immediately hear it lock from the outside.
They don't want me wandering around right now, it seems. Curious.
Curious. Josh is still dying from that. Are you doing anything else for the evening besides sleeping?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over my notes that I've taken so far, clean them up a bit. You know, they went taking them from like bullet points to like drawn out paragraphs. And then going back to my research notes to see if there's anything that I can find in them that might help me gain a little bit more trust outside of just completing these tasks.
I think reviewing your notes will just remind you to respect their ways, because you're not here to change them.
Right.
But there's nothing explicit in the notes that's like, if you do this, they'll greatly appreciate it, you know? What is your passive perception?
14.
I will say that you hear the faint noise of drums.
In my travels, I imagine I've heard lots of music. And I may have also heard drums used for perhaps marching or combat. Do these sound like festive drums or
They are
combat?
very tribal in nature. Given your travels, it's a little difficult in the sense that in one region these drums might be considered marching drums or war drums, and in another it would seem normal. In this specific region, you can tell that it definitely strays from the traditional sound that you're used to.
Nothing traditional, as far as I'm aware of here, besides their traditions. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there windows? Like, can I look out and see anything?
There are no windows in this room.
Oh. And the door is locked. Don't want to overstep. So, go to sleep.
Okay. So you rest until morning. What time do you get up?
Before dawn.
Before dawn.
Just
okay.
before, yeah.
So what are you doing before dawn?
Just gathering all my things, making sure I have my paper, and then checking to see if the door is unlocked, if I can even get out of this room now.
When you first check it, the door is not unlocked, but when dawn does come around, you would hear it click.
I quickly open and be like, "You're gonna make me late for meeting with Eyeless." And I don't know who's on the outside of the door, but
You would just turn to see a dog.
Dogs with opposable thumb. Interesting. And I just beeline as quick as my turtle legs can take me to the northeast corner.
Let me pull up. Okay.
Beeline. So it's like this.
So you just get lost the whole time.
Yeah.
You meet Eyeless at the grove's edge, where you spot a large, majestic creature lying wounded on the ground. Why don't you roll me a nature check?
Yeah. 13.
You're able to identify it as a thunder elk. The creature appears to be caught in the storm and has suffered severe injuries to its legs and antlers, as well as electrical burns along its body due to a lightning strike. Eyeless would greet you.
Ah, Yen Sid.
Eyeless.
Good morning.
Good morning. Look, what is this thunder elk?
Oh, very impressive. You recognize it.
It's a shame it wasn't a lightning elk from the looks of it.
True. But, shall we say close? As you have already identified, this is a thunder elk, a beautiful, magnificent beast. It has been home to the grove for generations. I believe, was millennia ago that it was said some of the first Druids made friends with it by offering it berries from nearby bush. And from then on, slowly but surely over decades, a relationship was cultivated, and year after year it returns. It is a tragedy to see it in such a condition, but hopefully with your help, that is something we can change.
Well, I noticed the wound, but I also noticed the herb garden back there. Do you happen to have any of the heart bloom with you to help treat the burns or to help heal it?
Oh, very impressive indeed. There is a variety of herbs nearby. However, we must perform this in steps, you see. We must triage the situation and address it one at a time. So, join me, stand close.
Okay.
Well, first of all, it must be noted that the storm dislodged a section of rock from a nearby cliff. It tumbled down and injured the poor beast. That is how these injuries occurred. The beast fled to the grove, seeking refuge and healing, and that is what we will be providing today. But the size and severity of its wounds make it difficult to treat. You can see here, there are severe injuries on its leg and antlers, as well as electrical burns due to lightning. Oh, this revered creature. It has such a connection to the storms, and there are many here that believe it was guiding the winds during the recent storm. Though not everyone. Let's see. First thing to do. Now.
And I would take a step back, take a very relaxed position.
Healing this creature requires more than simply physical aid. We must tap into the druidic magic that flows through the land. First, we will learn empathy. You must approach calmly.
And I would gently approach the beast, place a hand on its flank, and start murmuring soft, soothing words in druidic.
Try to listen for the different inflections and stuff in the words that he's saying. and then try to copy it.
Okay. Ilis would step back and give you a chance to try to calm this animal yourself and see how you do. So you can roll me an animal handling check with advantage since Ilis kind of showed you what to do and you're trying to copy it. Wow.
Damn.
Well, yeah, that
Best
goes fair.
players now.
You kind of observed how the beast responded to Ilis, his tone and his presence, and kind of just understood having a respect for the creature is also, like, can be sensed by the creature. So with your first lesson being in animal handling, you kind of approach slowly, trying to repeat the words that Ilis was saying, and calm the elk enough that he's not gonna kick you right away, despite how much pain the elk is in. Which will bring us to the second part of this task, which will be assessing the beast's condition.
Well done, well done. All right, now, as you can tell, the injuries are quite severe, and we must inspect these without alarming the beast. Now, upon calculations, the burns appear to be the most dangerous. It is seared through the fur and the skin. The leg injury can heal if properly treated, but the shattered antler will require careful handling. It's tied to the creature's elemental connection, you see. There are some creatures that are tied to elemental forces, meaning their healing requires both mundane and magical intervention. This is one such beast. So, all druids must learn to draw upon the energy of nature itself. Place your hand on the ground next to the elk. Feel the pulse of life in the earth beneath your palm. Breathe in, breathe out. Close your eyes, clear your mind, and focus on the hum of energy that exists between you, the earth, and the wounded creature. Focus that energy into your hand. Direct it towards the most severe injuries. Remember, this magic is not just about memorizing words. It's about feeling the flow of life.
Taking Ilis's advice to kind of put your hand on the ground, roll me a nature check to see if you can kind of feel this energy that Ilis is talking about.
I'm very much trying to clear my mind of everything except for his words.
Oh. You don't really understand what he means by this hum. Maybe your hand's in the wrong spot, you're not really sure. But without that, you can't really progress further.
Ilis, I don't feel anything. I don't hear a hum. What am I doing wrong?
Oh, it's okay. A deep breath. You see, nature's magic cannot be forced. It must be coaxed gently and allowed to flow freely through you. You are but a conduit, like a root for a tree, connecting that tree to the earth. Allow its energy to siphon through you and provide healing to this creature.
Shake it off. I'm a tree. Put my hands back on both hands this time on the
You can
ground.
roll again and to kind of treat this as if Ilis gave you the help action. So just one more time. If you get what I'm saying. Okay. As you're kind of, I'm a tree. It's becoming your mantra, you're a tree. You stop repeating your mantra for a moment and very faintly you can hear the humming that Ilis is talking about, but you can also feel it as your palm is pressed into the earth, this kind of vibration. It's ever so subtle. And And you remember that the next step is to take that energy that you're feeling and to channel it into the elk. When you're ready to give that a try, you can roll me a straight wisdom check.
So I will just really, really try to focus in on that energy and see if I remove my hand, if I can still kind of feel that vibration and that humming. And if I do, then I'm gonna try to place my hand slowly and gently around the burn marks and do that. Straight wisdom. So it's just a +4.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Okay. You place your hand towards the lightning burns on the elk's flank, and you begin to feel this kind of warmth on your hand transfer from you, well, really transfer through the earth, through you, and into the elk, where you slowly start to see the raw red skin kind of soothe into its normal color. The burns kind of recover and become natural skin / hide, whatever you want to call it, and slowly heal. Although the fur hasn't grown back and it kind of leaves like a bit of almost like a scar, you can see that the lightning, the burn from the lightning is completely gone.
Wonderful. Well done, Yen.
I was a tree, Eyeless. I did it.
You
I
were.
felt it.
Resilient and strong, just like one. And look, the creature is healed because of it. Well done, Yen Sid.
You're gonna be just fine. And I try to gently pat it.
Well, it is coming along quite nicely, but there is still some physical aid that this creature requires. We must bind the injured leg with natural fibers from nearby plants. Sounded like you already had an idea of one to use for such a thing.
The heart bloom works well, but also silverleaf is great for rejuvenation. So
Perhaps
the
some
combination.
Perhaps some sort of poultice made from both of them?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, then in that case retrieve the herbs and I shall prepare the mortar and pestle for you.
I'll look in the nearby vicinity. Do I see any of those, or do I?
You can roll me an herbalism check.
Let's
you are
go.
not yet proficient, so
Right. So, what is herbalism? Is that
I think if you're
wisdom?
trying to identify nearby plants at the moment, it would be an intelligence check.
intelligent? Got it. Straight intelligence.
Damn.
You are easily able to spot Heartbloom and Silverleaf nearby. You can tell that some of the Heartbloom isn't looking too good. It's very like waterlogged, but it's still usable at the moment.
Okay. I'll quickly gather some, and then let's see. I have painter's supplies on me, and in that I'd probably have some sort of cup that I'd put water to like rinse brushes. So I would use that cup to put the herbs in and try to start making a poultice for the.
Eyeless does have a mortar and pestle for you.
Oh,
If you'd like to do that instead.
I'll be working on it as I approach. I'm like, that would work better.
Yes, in my experience it does.
Oh, I just start transferring the contents. Like, I was just trying to do it with the end of a paintbrush.
As you have it in the mortar and pestle, you can roll me a medicine check to make a poultice for this elk. Jeez Louise.
Holy shit, man.
You successfully managed to make this kind of almost pesto-looking poultice with these shimmers of silver in them. You apply it with that roll. You apply it to the leg and wrap it gently in a bandage that Eyeless had quickly made while you were looking for the herbs. And the elk kind of stands up. It's definitely favoring that leg. It's not put too much on it, but it kind of turns to you, both you and Eyeless, and gives a very grandiose and elegant bow. Its antlers still shattered, but there's not too much you can do about that. It's gonna have to grow on its own. As it then kind of trots away. I'm not gonna say it gallops. It's not really at that level yet, but it kind of trots away.
Gently, not like yell at it, but shout out like, just be gentle with it. It's not fully restored yet.
It definitely limps quite a bit.
That was quite rewarding.
Well done, Yen. You learned very quickly, and appears you already have pre-existing knowledge of the natural plants that can be of aid to you. Which was
I
final lesson.
read a lot. There's another lesson.
Oh no, you've already passed it. The final lesson was that never forget the importance of mundane skills. These skills complement the magical abilities of a druid healing. There's no substitute sometimes.
I see.
Well,
Could the natural magics have done the same effect for the leg that the poultice did?
oftentimes there may be crossover between the two, but magic is sometimes inhibited by forces that have no effect on the natural, and same way the other way. You must learn to never forget either, as together they form the cohesion of nature.
Natural magic and natural mundane.
Yeah, me I. Well, by my calculations, you have succeeded in what I needed your help with.
Does that mean I earn a trinket?
And you would see me take out this, like, actually, would you like to describe precisely what it looks like?
So it kind of looks like, have you ever seen, like, a bamboo seed looking thing?
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit like that. And Eilish would call this the heart of Qatar. He would explain that this is basically one of the seeds that comes from that great oak tree. Doesn't quite look like an acorn, doesn't quite look like a bamboo seed. Kind of a mix between the two.
I'll ask, the heart of Qatar, is Qatar the name of the tree?
It is, yes.
How would you spell that?
K-A... Oh.
You're good. I was joking.
K-A-T-A-R. Qatar.
I added an H just because.
I like
Be
it.
fancy.
Giants.
In addition, for succeeding in all parts of this endeavor, you can now cast the Cure Wounds spell. You will also gain half proficiency in animal handling and medicine if you don't already have it.
I don't.
Heck yeah, man.
Animal
Those are some good rolls. Holy shit.
They were great rolls.
half and medicine, you said?
Yeah, it's animal handling and medicine.
I mean, it's a good thing I could add half of my proficiency bonus, which is 0. It's 1.
It should be 1. It should be like rounded up to 1.
For some reason, it didn't add up. Oh, maybe it will if I rolled it. But
It could also be because you don't have a level. so it doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
Basically, minimum
that's
of
probably
one.
the case.
Sick.
Yeah.
Eyeless.
Yes.
Archdruid Kilseath asked me to speak to 2 others, but did not give me a description or a direction on how to find them.
Oh,
Could you perhaps send me in the direction of Yen Silkian?
oh, Yavin Silkian. Well, yes, you should be able to find her in my notes somewhere. Please hold.
Notes are important, I take it.
I'm assuming you don't have a specific spot for her.
She's at the herbalist garden.
Oh.
You can find her at the herbalist garden, just by the way you came in.
Yeah, I passed there yesterday. Perhaps I even saw her yesterday when I was there for a moment.
You may have, although she is, shall I say this kindly, a woman of few words and fewer kind words still.
Oh. Any tips on how to get on her good side?
If you find that out, you let me know.
Oh. I will.
Best of luck to you, Yen Sid.
Thank you. And thank you for your teachings and your patience with me, as I didn't quite understand it at first. I'm glad that I was able to utilize what you showed me.
As am I. It was my pleasure to be a part of your journey in this regard. Thank you for listening. Never forget that it is always the key to nature. Should you listen, you will hear it speak to you.
Listen. Kind of just zone out for a moment, not like 20 seconds, and just kind of hear anything. Do I hear
Perhaps
anything?
it has nothing to say right now. Well, have a good day, Yen.
You too, Eyeless. I will make my way to the herbalism garden.
Okay, it is about noon by this point.
I'll eat rations on the way because now I'm excited.
Okay.
Like at first it was like, oh, all these new sites and stuff, and then it was like, oh my gosh, they're teaching me things and like stuff that I had no idea existed. Like I've seen magic before, but this is new. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to go see what the next part of this
Yeah. Okay. Let me just pull this up. Okay.
drinking soda. Oh no.
When you get to the Grove's herb garden, you will see Yrene already hard at work, and despite her graceful, slender elven form, she carries an air of authority and precision about her. You can tell that the storm has ravaged the herbalist garden, damaging delicate plants and uprooting some of the rare herbs that she seems to be the one to care for. You would kind of see her so there's like an herbalist hut, if you will. She's by that building in that immediate garden, tending to the damaged herbs there. Let me pull up her picture. Excuse me. This is Yrene. Kind of has this basket on her back filled with like uprooted plants, damaged plants, just kind of all the things that aren't salvageable right now.
Seeing that, I kind of glean that she has this sense of authority about her, and knowing what Alice has told me, I'm going to gingerly make my way towards her, like trying to avoid stepping on anything. And trying not to be clumsy around all this
Mm.
destroyed plants, not to break anything else, basically.
Roll me
Oh shit.
acrobatics, I guess.
Oh yeah, this is gonna go real well with this 4 dexterity.
In before -2. Oh wow, shit.
Oh my
Holy
god!
dude.
Right,
What?
Sid don't miss. Listen.
Dude.
That
Wow.
was a 17. Okay. As you're kind of tiptoeing around the plants, keeping a careful watch on where you're stepping, without looking up, you would hear her speak as she says, sorry, shouldn't have had those potato chips, but that's not what she says. Are you trying to sneak up on me, or are you doing some sort of interpretive dance?
Neither. I'm trying to not disturb the already disturbed. As I look around at the mess before
Observant.
us.
Can I help you?
Yes. By allowing me to help you, perhaps. I see what has happened here, and I understand that you are Yerin,
Yes.
Archdruid. Kilseath sent me to assist you.
Oh, finally. You are not a druid.
No, but I am quick to learn and am hoping that while I might not be accustomed to all of your customs and magics, I can assist with what knowledge I do have. For example, I see that there's flooding over here. If we were to get more of the moss vine over there, it could help absorb the water to remove it and unwaterlog the waterlog.
I suppose you are enough. Alright. I need you to go into the fields and assess the damages. Tell me what herbs need help and what they're ailing from. Then come back.
Okay. I will tiptoe around and I've got a couple sheets of paper ready to try to organize what plants I do know and what damages they suffer from.
I am not going to make you roll to identify the heartbloom or the silverleaf since you've already done that. But you can roll me a survival check to kind of see exactly what's going on with the heartbloom and then with the silverleaf.
Okay. Survival.
These DCs are like minuscule compared to what you are rolling, and I think it's so funny.
It's gonna be great
You know
when the
every-
DCs are like 18 and I'm rolling 7s. Like,
Yeah, it's
be-
gonna flip for sure. So you notice that the Heartbloom field is in danger of developing root rot from excess water. So the roots are naturally sensitive to overwatering, and after the storm, the roots have clearly absorbed too much water, leading to yellowing leaves and a drooping posture. You also note that the excess moisture has caused the stems to soften, making the plant more prone to rot again. The leaves are beginning to discolor from the base upward, clearly showing signs of decay. And then you can roll it for the silverleaf.
Ho ho ho!
It's Christmas, bitch.
Oh my god.
It'd be funny if it didn't ho 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 for you guys too, so you wouldn't know why I was saying. Like if
wasn't
it did
on-
a different sound.
I wasn't on the tab, so it didn't do shit. I literally thought you were just saying it's Christmas, bitch, for no reason.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You note with the silverleaf that the storm's winds have torn many of their delicate leaves from the plants. The stalks are largely intact, but several leaves have been scattered across the garden. Where the leaves do remain attached, their edges have begun to fray, and the shimmering surface has dulled due to exposure to the harsh rain.
Okay.
Then you can
Okay.
roll me a nature check to see what else needs help in the garden.
Yeah. Bad. Oh, not bad. Not bad.
You notice that there is stormroot in this garden. It is a rarer herb. It grows to be about 3 feet tall with thick, dark green stalks. The leaves are wide and flat, a dark purplish green in color, and they feel waxy to the touch, designed to repel water naturally. They are the most important part of stormroot is the roots, which are thick and gnarled and appear almost crystalline in nature, with the veins glowing blue when exposed to air. You note that it's used in potions and salves that grant resistance to lightning attacks. And the roots are the most valuable part of the plant and are harvested to brew these protective potions. You rolled a 12. You also know that the energy within the stormroot's veins is caused by Thatrixite influence, and it stores natural magical properties tied to stormy weather, making it a key ingredient in this defensive poultice.
Okay. Can I tell what is going on with it, or do I need to roll?
That's a survival check for me.
All right, Stormroot, what you got going on, baby? Talk to me. I would like to try and do what Eyeless told me and listen. I want to get down next to the Stormroot and like place my hand and see if it's trying to tell me what's wrong.
Roll me another nature check. Oh wow. Now
Oh,
roll
that
me...
was survival. Sorry.
Oh.
Nature would be just a +2, so
19.
19.
Okay, so you can now roll your survival with advantage, as you can sort of feel that hum, that vibration on your palm again. And you are easily able to identify that most of the stormroot has been uprooted and their roots are now exposed, putting them at risk of drying out or being damaged by pests. And while the waxy coating of the leaves protects it from most rain, some of them have been bent or snapped due to falling debris from the storm.
Okay.
And I will say that's all you see that needs assistance immediately.
Okay. I will approach Yaireen. Again, taking care to avoid damaging anything. Master Yaireen, Yen Sid, back with a report.
Just get on with it.
The heart bloom is getting root rot from overwater. The leaves are yellowing and have drooping posture. The stems have softened, which make them more prone to rot and are showing signs of decay. The silver leaf, some of the leaves have been torn from the plants, and the stalks are largely intact, but the leaves are scattered somewhat, some of them around. The ones that are still intact, the edges have begun to fray and lose color due to the rain, as I'm sure you're aware. And the stormroot, which I've not seen much of in my time, most of them have been uprooted and are exposed, risking being dried out or attacked by pests. And some of the leaves have bent or snapped.
Yurian finally, sits back and gives you full attention after that report. And she says, okay, now that I know I'm working with someone who is not, idiotic, we're going to have to remedy the situation immediately, or we could risk losing all of our harvest.
That would be most terrible.
We'll have to replant the stormroot, combat rot in the heartbloom, and mend the silverleaf. Which one do you want to start with?
Whichever you deem most important this time.
I mean, they're all equally important and necessary, but considering there are a lot of animals who got injured in the storm, let's start with the heartbloom.
Right. The healing salve. Okay. How do we combat rot?
Well, first, since it's overwatered, we're going to have to carefully extract the affected plants from the soil. Then we're going to have to prepare a root drying solution using sunfern oil and rock salt, which will pull out the moisture from the roots, and then you will replant them in a dry patch of soil.
Right. Sunfern oil with rock salt, dry it out, replant.
Yes.
Oh, on it. Where would I
The hut.
get? Right, the hut.
When you go in, you see an insanely organized kind of office almost, where you have your potting soil and then all these different herbs and extracts and things, and then all the tools you could need, and it's just super, super organized.
Does it remind me of the lab at the library?
Even more organized than that was. This is you could tell that the person who did this is meticulous at what they do.
They would get along with Vero.
Pharaoh could use one of them.
Yeah. I will look for the sunfern oil and the rock salt.
Okay.
And the mortar and pestle.
Super easy to locate. There's even a workbench for you. It's more, instead of think of the alchemist wing, think more of a gardener's bench. It's very simple, very small. One task at a time kind of thing. And if you're ready to make this paste from the sunfern oil and the rock salt, you can roll me a survival check.
Yeah, I am. First, I'd look to see, since there is a lot of organization here, I'd like to see if there is maybe a note or a book of different salves and things, and see if I can find a recipe for this paste. So I can get the ratios correct.
Roll me a investigation check as you kind of look around. You are able to locate a book, almost like a tome, of, the first chapter's kind of chapter. I don't even want to call it that. The first section, you can tell they're noting what's in the garden, how much of everything, and it's kind of just like a log. But then when you kind of get to the back of the book, you can see recipes for certain things, and even just kind of botanist notes on, how to take care of this plant and what's it good for and all that jazz.
Yes.
But you do find the recipe for this paste. I don't have a name for it, sorry. The paste.
The paste. Dry paste.
Dry paste. And so you can roll this survival to make it with advantage.
No. 16.
You kind of successfully follow the instructions, making sure to incorporate the oil with the rock to create this almost exfoliant, if you will. And it is ready for you to take into the garden. You, with a 16, you are able to make enough for that whole field. This is going to take you quite a bit of time to do this, but obviously it needs to be done.
Yeah, I would do it with great care too, so it'd probably take me even a little bit longer.
So you'll need to extract all the plants that can be saved, and apply this solution to them, and then plant them back into dry soil. You can get soil in the hut and a wheelbarrow, like all that stuff, everything you need you can get from the hut. But let's start with the extraction because it is going to be the hardest part for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need that sleight of hand.
Yeah, you are. Can you be with me? Not bad.
Okay, you successfully extract all of the heart blooms that you can save. And you kind of put them in a basket to the side. At this point, you'll now need to apply the dry soil on top of the wet soil to kind of get it to not overwater these plants. That's what's going to be the bulk of your time. And it doesn't really require skill check, more just patience and effort. But once that's ready, you will have to replant all the heart blooms that you have applied the solution to, and that will be a nature check.
Can I, when I was looking up that paste and it was talking about the care of different plants, could I have looked back at that to see if there was a note on like how deep you need to plant this plant or
Yeah.
that?
I'll definitely say that there's stuff in there for you to be able to plant this, all the spacing and the depth and, you know, what kind of lighting it needs and stuff like that. So go ahead and roll this with advantage. Okay, you successfully replant this entire field of heart bloom. Excuse me. And it's been a few hours. But you feel confident enough that you can return to Yerain, to get started on your next task.
How late is it getting at this point?
It's about
it was
3
around
p.m.
noon? Okay. Eugene, I've completed the heart bloom. I think, following the instructions in the tome inside, I should all be well planted and fertilized. If you would like to double check my work.
I would. She gets up, dusts herself off, and walks over there. Oh, good. You didn't do that moronic thing of planting it in the wet soil. Good.
No, that's what caused the rot. What?
The spacing is impeccable. Do you like plants? Is that why you're doing this?
I don't have anything against plants, but I've noticed that you like plants and others like plants and have taken great care in preserving these plants. So why would I not try to take as equal care of them as you have?
Interesting. She turns around. What do you want to work on next? Or are you tired?
No. Just like my back pops. I'll just stand up from being on my hands and knees the whole time. Nope. I'm well rested. Great sleep in the locked hut last night. I'm ready to move on. Probably to, since, as you stated, most critters and that are injured might not need to worry about them getting to the storm route. So perhaps the Silverleaf next.
Very well. So, obviously, Silverleaf, per name, the leaves are the important part. And as you saw, they're in shambles. Or I should say, across the entire fields.
Yes.
You're gonna need to gather most of them up. And also prune the torn leaves and the frayed leaves so that we can create room for new growth. To do the new growth part, we're going to need a salve using the syrup of ivy cap and ground spring root. You saw the book, the recipe is in there.
Right.
And then once you've applied the salve to the stalks, you can then... Oh, that would be it.
Just
You don't
apply
have to
the
pull them
salve.
out. Yeah, because you're not taking them out the ground.
Right. The leaves that I do collect, would you like them, or should I put them in their designated area inside the hut?
Only if they are usable. If they are frayed and torn, they are of no use to me. And they can go in
Do
the
they have
compost
other
bin.
uses? Compost bin. Over there. Right. Okay. Compost bin for the frayed and torn, otherwise usable. Got it. Okay. And I started walking to the hut to make this salve.
Okay. I assume you're gonna look in the book for the
Oh
recipe.
yeah, especially since you told me to this time, and I don't know the recipes.
Jesus, since you know about the book. You can roll me that survival check with advantage.
Ooh,
Okay.
rolls.
So this one isn't as difficult as the other. It's more of just mixing the two ingredients in the correct proportions. There's no mortar and pestle involved. As you kind of take the syrup of the ivy cap, it's kind of more liquidy than you would think of like maple syrup. It's a little more liquidy than that. And add in the ground spring root. I keep saying spring root. Sprig root. And so you have the salve ready to go for the entire field.
On I go. First, I'll grab some shears to remove any leaves that I need to, and head to the field.
Okay, so you need to start the pruning process. This is going to be the bulk of your time here, and you can roll me a nature check to ensure that you are pruning correctly. You're not taking too much, but you're also not leaving things that are unhealthy on
Oh,
the
I
plant.
should have looked that up.
Okay. You feel like you've successfully pruned the entire field. And so now it leaves just applying the salve carefully to the damaged stalks.
Trying to be real gentle.
That's gonna be a sleight of hand check, your favorite.
Yeah, it is. Because I roll that 20. Oh no! I'm just dumping the whole salve.
You break a few stalks, and on top of that, you run out of the salve. And as you kind of look back at your work, you realize you've done a relatively
job.
poor job of this.
I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna try to wipe the salve off and like apply it properly, and because
Okay.
she seems like she's gonna
It
be
will
angry
be
with me.
obviously time consuming, but also more difficult for you. So you can roll me another sleight of hand check.
Yeah. Cutting in my dinner hours, but I don't care. Just normal or disadvantage?
Normal, the DC went up.
Ah,
You feel like you've caused more harm than anything at this point. The Silverleaf field is looking gunky.
oh no. Well, I have to own up to my mistakes. This is poor work. Master Yerine,
Yes.
Master, I regret to inform you that my work this time is below subpar, and punishment will be accepted as whatever you deem necessary.
So dramatic. Let me see. As she walks
Oh my
over,
God!
She walks over and you just hear sharp inhale. And she looks at the whole thing. I said you needed to apply the salve, not bathe them in it.
I've got these big turtle-lip hands. They're not very dexterous.
I'll fix it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. She just goes into the hut.
I'm gonna take extra, since she didn't tell me to get started on the storm route. I'm gonna take care to watch her do this and see if I can learn the proper technique.
Okay. In that case, roll me an intelligence check to see how much you can gather from this experience.
All of it.
It's not in that one. Okay, I'll say that you're able to pick up on specifically the way she applies the solve, and how much she uses in that regard. But in terms of her gentle nature or anything like that, technique, you're not really sure. You can just pick up on how much she's using, really.
You are a master of your craft.
Yes. It calls to me, I guess.
You can hear it.
I'm a druid.
I heard a hum once.
I'm a dragonborn. That's what I thought you were gonna say for sure.
Dragonborn. I gotta have a dragonborn. This is.
I heard a hum once when I helped heal a storm elk. A thunder elk. Thunder.
Oh, you're almost a druid yet.
At this rate, and I look at the mess that she's cleaned up for me, maybe some more time is needed.
Well, you don't become a druid overnight. It takes
Oh?
practice. That
Too
humming
late?
that you hear, some of us hear the voice behind it. Keep listening.
He zones out. Just little turtle ears open up, really trying to focus in on that voice.
Alright, while you
Don't
do that,
hear.
I have hydrangeas that need pruning.
But the storm room.
If you want to work through dinner, you will be locked up again. As are all outsiders. I wouldn't skip dinner, else you won't eat until dawn.
I have some rations, though the lamb was quite tasty. But it is quite important to finish the work, yes?
Yes. But even with magic, recovery does not happen overnight.
Alright. I will be back at dawn when they unlock me.
Very well.
Very well. Perhaps I could sit with you at dinner and you could maybe coach me a little on what will need done with the storm route.
Roll your persuasion check.
I'm a very charismatic turtle.
Oh wow.
Not
you
bad.
That's not
are.
bad.
Not bad.
Damn.
Fine, fine, fine. I will teach you some things. I guess.
Very appreciated.
You're welcome.
Work, clean up. I'll just make my way to the river inside the district.
That's one way to do it, yes. And she just kind of like prestidigitations or something.
I'm just covered in sticky sap and oil. Pretty sure I got more of it on me than the plants, and I am the peanut butter baby at this point.
Alright. You head to dinner. You sit with I said Irene. You sit with Irene. And she teaches you some things about plants. You know what? I will say that she talks about the syrup you were using. And she talks about ivy cap specifically, which is where she got it from. It grows vertically with thin stems reaching up to 1 foot in height. Its most notable feature is its broad mushroom-like cap, which range in colors from pale yellow to a deep mossy green. The caps secrete a sticky golden syrup when pressed, which is highly valued for its regenerative properties. The syrup produced by ivy cap is used in salves to encourage rapid plant growth. When applied to injured plants, it can help them regrow leaves or heal damaged stems faster than they would naturally. When in the wild, key identifiers you want to look out for are mushroom-like caps that secrete this golden syrup when pressed. Any kind of mushroom caps that are pale yellow or mossy green in color, and a sticky texture on the underside of the mushroom cap.
I'm gonna listen very intently to her, just like showing her that she has the like, I'm all ears. I want to know everything about it, and just try to show as much interest in it as she has.
You can tell that as the conversation progresses on and you're showing this interest, she kind of like relaxes a little bit. You can see a bit of a smile on her face as she just, talks about her passion, which is plants.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Are you doing anything else before heading to bed for the evening?
Yeah, once done listening to her, I'm gonna find Eyeless again.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And
Fairly easy, probably, so.
Yeah.
Eyeless,
Oh, Yen,
I've had quite the day.
have you?
Yes, but I was curious. Why is it that we must be locked away at night? We being myself.
Give me 1 sec. I have a question about this.
You see, this is for Liari. Quite literally translated, it means story circle.
Story circle? I love story circles.
Well, you see, it is only for druids that are actually part of the circle. It is very sacred to us. Unfortunately, I cannot share all the details with you, but, well, should you ever actually become a member of the circle, I suppose, then I could share all the details with you.
Could you tell me if that was the drums that I heard last evening?
I could tell you that it was during the same time, yes.
Were they not part of the druid storytelling circle?
Oh, my forgetful me. I guess I've forgotten the specifics. If you become a member, I shall tell you everything.
All right. He just kind of has this defeated look of like, man, they're telling stories and I don't get to hear them. Like, what the heck? I'll finish my dinner and go to my jail cell.
It's not a jail. Although you can't leave voluntarily, but it's not a jail.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, I would have asked before I left. And can you tell me if my friend Galleon? He was the other person that arrived in the village with me. Do you know of their whereabouts or well-being?
I mean, this is like a tightish knit community, right?
Yeah,
Just wondering if he would know.
he'd probably know.
Yeah.
Especially because he's the blabbermouth.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that you said this is a friend of yours.
Yes, I assisted him in creating magical objects and in traveling to this grove. And we bonded quite a bit in that time.
Well, he is safe, I can assure you this. There's not a worry whatsoever. He is just simply not as trusted as I. Well, I mean, he's being questioned more thoroughly to ensure his intent with our grove.
I assure you his intent is, if anything, to help. For, you see, I know the Faxtra site, and I'm assuming I see in the image here, I don't know if those are giant blue flowers or if that's Faxtra site that I see dotted around.
Yeah.
I see the Faxtra site all around, and I know that it is his mission to stop the harvesting Faxtra site, so that way nature can keep its resource, and he wants to create perhaps a false one, so that way nature can be nature, and would not harm its surroundings.
Want to make a persuasion check?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second here.
He is no foe to this forest. In fact, we were, well, I don't know if attacked is the right word, but approached aggressively by a black bear on our way in. And instead of damaging black bear, as I know he could, he is quite powerful, he simply shoot it away. He is friend of nature. At least from my dealing.
Oh, I mean, from everything you've described to me, he sounds like a valiant individual. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that the decision is not up to me. Any decisions with this level of weight are within the hands of the Archdruid. If you wish to make a claim for his, well, intent within our grove, you must speak with him of this.
Perhaps you, knowing me and my intent and willingness, could speak to him on my behalf?
With the Archdruid?
Yes.
I'll have to roll for that, actually.
Such matters are... you must understand, the Archdruid does what he does because he cares for the safety of our realm. I know what I know of you, but I have only just met you, and I know not of this one that is your friend. He may very well have every intent that you have spoken, and I hope that he does. But if I were to vouch for him and I was wrong, well, I would be responsible for the downfall of the entire Druid Grove.
I understand. Well, tomorrow then, perhaps when I finish helping Yaireen, I will seek an audience with Kilseath.
Very well. I believe this to be your best chance to fight for your friend's behalf.
Thank you.
Of course. I'm sorry there was not more I could do, but I hope for all of our sake that your friend is exactly as you say. Then there is no need for overly being cautious.
Hope so too.
Well, I suppose there's a chance I shall see you in the morning then. Perhaps not as early as before.
I'm going to be up quite early. That way I
but
do
I
not
will
mess
not.
up the plants again. That was scary.
Oh,
The arena's scary.
did it feel like a winter chill blew through your bones?
She
More
sees
like
us in the distance.
Yes.
more like a prickly rose attacking
Yes.
my fingertips.
Yes, I know of this sensation you speak. I am sorry for you, my friend. But perhaps due diligence. You may yet get on her good side.
I'm trying. We shared a good conversation, and I started rambling until
It's time
I
to
would
get
count the
locked up.
ramble. Yeah.
All right. Then with that concludes your second night in Druids Grove. Relatively successful start to your relationship with them. And that is where we will leave off this time until next session.
Alright.
Let's go. My God, Yen Sid can
You
roll.
rolled so high for most of them.